So here's the deal. I have been new to cities. I have been new to countries. I have been new to jobs. I have been new to entrepreneurship. I have been new to living a plant based lifestyle. Listen, I got new receipts. Okay. I have been new countless times over my adult years. So the thing we're about to talk about today, I'm telling you right now, I got receipts on. I have been new over and over again. And here's the thing about being new. It never gets old. You know what I mean? Like being new never gets old. So I have been new. I've lived in different places. I've tried different things. I've worked a 9 to 5. I've ran a business. I've lived a meat-based lifestyle for years and then converted to living a plant-based meatless lifestyle. And so I have been new at so many things over time. And here's the thing about being new. If you are committed to goals, if you are committed to personal development, if you're committed to growth, like if you have a vision for what you want in your mind, then being new is inevitable and you're likely going to have to be new and not just one thing, but many things over the years, right? And so if you want to achieve what you want to achieve, you're going to have to let new up in your spirit. And so first of all, if you have had challenges with being new to things, I want to congratulate you because this is a good problem to have because the only reason there is to be new at something is because you're trying something, right? Like people who don't try new things, they don't have the privilege and the pressure of being new because comfort and familiarity is so irresistible to people that many people never try new things. Like we all know people who don't travel. We know people who stay in jobs that no longer serve them just because it's familiar. We know people who stay in relationships that no longer serve them just because it's familiar. And so if you are here and you want to better understand how to be new at something, I want to start this conversation by congratulating you because if you're trying to figure out how to be new at something, that means you are committed to trying something. And most people, a lot of people don't try new stuff. So let's start this off with bravo. Before I get all in your business and start getting on your nerves, let's just start off real cordial and amicable. So, bravo. I'm super proud of you because being new means you're willing to try new things. Now, I never thought I'd be teaching this. Okay. I never thought I would specifically be teaching how to be new. I never thought I would specifically be teaching how to be new at something. But what I've learned from being a coach and being an entrepreneur for nearly 10 years is that there's a right way and there's a wrong way to be new at stuff. There's a right way and there's a wrong way to be new. And so, what I want to break down for you today is the right way to actually be new at something. Okay. Now, here's why it's important for me to talk about this. I am a coach. I am a plant-based health coach. I am a business coach. And so in my career, every single day, it is my responsibility to help people be new at things. Like most of our students, nearly all of our students at the Plant Protocol at Farm to Table plant-based coaching program have never lived a plant-based lifestyle before. So they are new at giving up animal products. They are new at giving up sugar. They are new at trying to learn how to eat and live without meat and without animal products. So I have to coach people every day in and day out, about how to be new at a plant-based lifestyle. And then in our business accelerator, where I help aspiring coaches and health professionals master the art of coaching, I have to teach them how to be new at coaching, and I have to teach them how to be new at entrepreneurship and running a business. Some are already entrepreneurs, others are not. And so I spend the overwhelming majority of my time with people who are new to either being plant-based, vegan, people who are new to entrepreneurship, people who are new to being a coach, right? They just have passion, but they've never coached anybody before. And so all of this has given me a kind of behind the scenes view at what humans experience when it's time to do something they've never done before. So I'm speaking to you today from that perspective. I literally coach people at being being new to stuff for a living. Good morning, Stacy from Connecticut. Hey, Stacy on YouTube. What's up, Instagram? Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to share with you 3 ways on how to be new at anything, but you guys already know my MO. Some of you guys do. If you don't, welcome. We're here live every single Monday morning, okay? For good health sakes on Instagram says, thank you for this. You're welcome already. I ain't never got thanked before I started dropping nuggets. Okay, it's a good day for me. Okay, so here is the key. Before I give you the 3 things that you must do to be new at anything, I have to tell you what to believe. Now, you guys know I am not one of those coaches who believe the strategy is going to solve all of your problems. A lot of you guys have strategy and can't do nothing with it. Like a lot of you guys got a blueprint to success in your pocket right now, and you can't do anything with it because you're trying to apply a new blueprint to an old mindset. So first things first, I'm going to tell you the 2 things you need to believe to successfully be new at something, and then I'll tell you how to do it. Fair? Fair. I heard you say fair. Okay, thank you. Permission granted. Okay, here's the first thing you need to believe in order to be new at something. Okay, don't decide that it's hard before you start. Okay, so the belief that you have to go into the new thing with is, I don't get to make a decision about whether or not it's hard before I even start it. Okay, so let's just play in my lane. Let's just play on my playground today. Y'all know I'm a plant-based health coach. I'm a plant-based vegan personally, and I'm a plant-based health coach professionally. Okay, and I have to coach people all the time who have chronic health challenges on how to adopt a plant-based diet. And the overwhelming majority of them, just like me, grew up with an animal-based diet. So they don't know how to live a plant-based lifestyle. All they know is the way they're currently eating is not working for them, and they have to try something different so that they can get healthy. And so what a lot of people make the mistake of doing is believing that living a plant-based lifestyle, giving up animal products, giving up dairy, giving up sugar, giving up processed food is hard before they even start. That is a resounding no-no, okay? Before you try something new, try your best not to make up your mind that it's hard before you even start. Come on, Kat Evans in the chat on YouTube. She said, number 1, don't decide it's hard before you start. I love note takers. If we got any note takers on Instagram that can help us out. So the first thing you need to believe in order to effectively be new at something is, don't go in like, if you're about to learn a new task, if you're about to start a business, if you're about to write a book for the first time, like I'm currently doing, don't start already believing that it's hard, because you don't have enough data to make that decision yet. It's just new. We don't know whether it's hard or not. And here's the truth. Hard is subjective. Whether or not something hard is subjective, right? That means whether or not it's hard changes from person to person. What's more likely true is that being new is hard, but not the thing itself. Does that make sense? So being new at something is hard, but that doesn't mean the thing itself is hard, right? So like being new to a plant-based lifestyle can be challenging, but living a plant-based lifestyle is not hard. It's being new at anything that makes it difficult. And the reason this distinction is important is because if you go into living a plant-based lifestyle for the first time, believing that it's hard, it's going to be hard for you to sustain it, because you're going into this belief that it's hard, which means the discomfort that I'm feeling right now is going to be around forever. And that's not true. Just tell yourself being new is what's difficult. The lifestyle itself is not difficult. Okay, so like I've been a plant-based vegan for many years now. Suffice it to say, it's just my normal. It's not hard. So you can look at me, you can look at other people living it, and you can see, wow, it seems like they're able to do it pretty seamlessly. It seems like they know all the right things to say and do to make this lifestyle sustainable for them. Okay, it must not be true what I'm believing about living the lifestyle is hard. It must that just being new is what's hard. And there's a difference between those 2 things. So the first thing you need to believe in order to successfully do new things in your life is you need to stop assuming that it's hard before you start. Be careful with that. The thing is not hard. Being new is hard. There is a difference. Like somebody just learning to drive, right? Anybody have teenagers or something? Or do you remember when you first started trying to drive? Like parallel parking, like watching traffic, all that stuff. Being new at driving was hard. But we all know now, as full grown adults, that driving is not hard. Okay. So we got to shift that belief before we go into the new thing. Okay. Stop telling yourself this is so hard. You never wrote a book before. By the time you get to your third book, it ain't going to be hard anymore. Okay. So just being new. Okay. Now, the second thing you need to believe before we get into the list of things you need to do. Okay. The second thing you need to believe before you can be new at something is you have to understand there's a difference. Come on, note takers, write this down. You have to understand there's a difference between not good and new. There's a difference between not good and being new. So I've watched, as a coach for almost 10 years now, I've watched people over and over again quit and give up because they didn't know there was a difference between being new versus being not good. Okay, listen very closely. I have watched people give up and quit on things that they in their heart wanted to do because they didn't know the difference between being new and not being good. What do you mean, Lisa? Okay, here's what I mean. Likely when you first start off doing something, the thing you produce is what's not good. It's not you that's not good. This is the difference between, this is where we separate the art from the artist. Okay? This is where we separate the art from the artist. Okay? People will quit because they're like, I can't create content online for my business. I'm not good at it. Mind you, it's their first video. I can't cook plant-based meals. I only know how to cook animal-based meals. I quit because I'm not good at it. Mind you, it's their first time, their first attempt at making a black bean burger, right? Like, I can't run a business. I'm not good at it. Mind you, they've been working a 9 to 5 for 45 and a half of their 46 years. You're not good or bad. You're just new. So the second thing you need to believe in order to be successful is that there's a difference between not good versus new. Some of y'all get it confused. Your first attempt out the gate at something, whatever you produce is probably going to be trash. Okay. Separate the art from the artist. So it's not that you're not good at creating content. It's that your first video is not good. See the difference? It's not that you're not good at cooking plant-based meals. That first black bean burger didn't come out good. It's not that you're not good at running a business. It's that your first time trying to create an offer, that offer wasn't good. It's okay. There's a difference between you not being good and it not being good. Now, this is where we got to get real granular with our words, because a lot of times people are quitting and giving up because they're assigning the not good to themselves, when really you need to assign it to the art, not the artist. Come on now, right? It's not that you're not good at writing books. It's that first chapter was trash. You ain't never wrote before. You used to speaking. That's what I'm going through right now. Do you guys know there is a vast difference? I mean, like there's a ocean-sized difference between my audio content when I speak and when I write. Like I've tried to read stuff I wrote and I'm like, nah, I know damn well I sound better than this, right? It's not that I'm not good. It's that this first draft ain't good. There's a difference between you're not good and what you just created for the first time is not good. So y'all got to stop quitting and stop giving up on stuff because you think you the problem. No. You're just new. Do we got that second belief down? Do we have that second belief down? You got to separate the art from the artist. And you got to stop embodying, you got to stop assigning these labels to yourself just because you're trying something for the first time, okay? The only way to know whether or not you're good at something is you have to have enough reps. You got to do enough reps to make a data-driven decision. What is the data? The reps are the data. So before I can definitively say whether or not I'm good at making plant-based meals, I got to make several plant-based meals before I can definitively say whether or not I'm good at creating content online. What I need to do? Create a library of content online. Am I right? Somebody tell me I'm right. So we have to stop saying, I'm not good. We have to know the difference between the art and the artist. If you're brand new at something, the very first thing you compose, we all know ain't gonna be your best work. Thank you, Juan God on Instagram. Say it right. Okay, come on now. So, in order to be new at something, at anything, we need those two beliefs. Those are the foundation for the remainder of our conversation. Number one, I don't get to decide it's hard before I start because I don't have any data to make that decision conclusively. And number two, I don't get to decide whether I'm good or not because I don't have enough data to make that decision conclusively. Yeah? Okay. All right. Now, here's a pro tip before I get into how to be new at something. Here's a pro tip. Even after you're good, let me warn people, because I've been making content online for a long time. I've been podcasting since 2016. I've been on social media, making videos and content for a long time. And so let me give you a pro tip about what happens even after you get good. Here's a pro tip. Even after you can definitively say, pretty good at this, you still gonna make not good art from time to time. Let me warn you guys, like I've been speaking for a long time. I've been speaking for years. A couple years ago, I bombed on stage and I had already been speaking for a couple years and already it was pretty damn good at it, but I still created a piece of art that wasn't good. So even after you get good, from time to time, you still will make not so good content. So that's a pro tip, okay? So you have to know the difference between not good and being new, but you also have to understand that even after you're good, that doesn't mean everything you produce after that is gonna be excellent. Okay. So there are still times where I create not so good things. And that still has no bearing on who I am as a person, what I'm qualified to do, what level of success I'm destined to have. That has no bearing on that. I just produced a not so good thing. And that's the beginning and end of it. Grand opening, grand closing on that thought. We don't need to go no further. Even after you get good, from time to time, you still gonna produce. Like every black bean burger after that ain't been fire. I done had a bad batch or two, even after getting good. Okay? Okay, because I got to teach y'all how to think because y'all be running from what God told y'all. Y'all be running from y'all assignment. Y'all be running from obedience because it didn't turn out great. What is happening? Okay? Okay. So be careful with the enticing feeling of comfort and familiarity that is going to keep you stuck. Okay. Come on, note takers. I love y'all. Okay. Now let's get into, I got three things for y'all. I got three ways on how to be new. Three ways on how to be new. Let me adjust that. Okay. We good. We good. Okay. Three ways on how to be new. Here's the first one. This is how to be new at anything. All right. Number one, here's what you have to do. You have to create a capacity for a learning curve. Okay. This means in order to be new at anything, okay, I almost said good. In order to be new at anything, the very first thing you have to do is you have to create space. When I say create capacity, that means create space. When I say create capacity, that means create room. That means that means you have to look at your life and you got to create room for a learning curve. So that means if you're new to creating content online, if you're new to living a plant-based lifestyle, if you're new to running a business, okay, part of the reason it's so doggone uncomfortable for you is because there's things you have to learn that you are not dedicating time to learning. Like you gotta study. Like you gotta read some stuff. Like one of the best ways to be new at something is to gather as much information as you can about it so you can properly set your expectations. We are not creating enough capacity to learn. So here's what that means. This means that you dive into the thing, you start doing the thing, and you don't have any background information on the thing. And so it's kind of like creating content online. Let's say you're new to entrepreneurship. You're working with me. You're like, Lisa, I really want to be a coach. I think you're phenomenal. I want to learn under you. And I'm going to be like, okay, let's do it. And I'm going to say, well, one of the ways we're going to start marketing you and your business, we want to do it organically at first. So let's start creating some content online. And you're going to say, oh God, I'm so scared. I'm scared of being on camera. I'm scared of being on mic. I'm really nervous about that. And I'm going to say, okay, well, let's stop first and let's learn some things about being new on camera. Let's study a little bit, right? And I start teaching you stuff about how to look at your metrics, because you're going to do your first video and you're going to say, nobody liked it. Nobody commented. I'm not good at creating content. That's what you're going to do. Okay. Even after you've watched this whole video 3 times, you're still going to come back and say, I'm not good. I'm not good at creating content online. And I'm going to say, well, let me see your metrics for that one video you created. I'm going to be like, well, you're right. We didn't get a lot of likes on it. There were only about 3, but look at this. 8 people shared it. And you're going to be like, well, why does that matter, Lisa? I don't have any likes, though. I don't have any comments, though. And I'm going to say, because we don't care about likes. Those are vanity metrics. But do you know what happens when people share your content? That's the metric we care more about, because that means people thought what you shared was so valuable that they were willing to put it in front of their audience. And aren't you creating content for a business and to grow a business and not just for your own ego? Yeah, Lisa, I am creating content for a business and not just for my own ego. So that means that the number of shares matter more than a number of likes. Oh, I didn't know that. Welcome to the learning curve. Welcome to the learning curve. The more you learn about the new thing you're doing, the easier it becomes to be new, because now you know what to look for. You know what not to look for. You understand better why you're doing the things you're doing. But when you just dive in and you haven't taken the time to carve out space to learn about the thing that you're doing, you draw different conclusions. And usually those conclusions are drawn from ignorance. And it's okay. It's okay. Now, here's the thing about creating capacity for a learning curve, okay? That when I say create capacity for a learning curve, again, you got to study the thing you're being new at. You have to read about the thing you're being new at. And this is important because you're going into a task manually and you're used to being on automatic for most things that you do in your life. And so for most people, we like being automatic so much that having to be manual is a heavy lift for us. And so this is where you are exposed on whether or not you're lazy. Yeah. Yeah, because when you're new at something, you might need a book about plant-based living. You might need to join a challenge, 30-day challenge. Oh, starting December 2024, take 2. Links in the show notes to register. You might need to join a 30-day challenge to learn how to be plant-based. You might need to get into a program where somebody's going to teach you how to be, but you don't like the learning curve is so big. Like, let me tell you what happened. You gotta fight against laziness. Let me give y'all an example about somebody I talked to recently. So after we just finished this last plant protocol 30-day vegan challenge, right? It ended at the top of June. It ended at the end of June, should I say. And I was doing like exit calls and exit interviews with some of the challengers, right? And I got on a call with this one lady and she was like, this challenge was amazing, Lisa. I feel great. I have so much energy. She's like, but I need help. I said, what? She said, it takes so much time. She said, I don't know how to do this. Like, I got to cook it seems like I'm in the kitchen forever. She's like, grocery shopping. It takes so much time, Lisa. Can you give me tips on how to shorten the time that it takes? I said, no, there is no tip to shorten the time it takes in the kitchen. There is no tip to shorten the time it takes in the grocery store. Baby, you're new at being plant-based. Of course, you got to master learning, reading labels all over again. You used to grocery shop on automatic. Now you're back on manual. No, I can't give you tips in the kitchen. Like, I mean, I can give you small stuff that you already know, like, hey, buy the vegetables pre-chopped, buy the onions and stuff pre-chopped if you don't want to chop them yourself. It's going to be little tips like that. But for real, you're learning how to cook this way. You're new at it. So here's what I needed her to understand. The time it takes to cook a plant-based meal now, the time it takes to grocery shop now is not always going to be the time it takes. You're just new. You are in the midst of your learning curve. You are learning how to use different seasonings. You're learning how to flavor your greens without a turkey leg. You're learning how to make sandwiches out of cucumber and avocado and sprouts instead of lunch meat and cheese. It's the learning curve. You are just new. You have to create you didn't create capacity for the learning curve. You want the results of a plant-based lifestyle. You want the energy that a plant-based lifestyle gives you. You want the healthy weight that a plant-based lifestyle gives you. You want the longevity that a plant-based lifestyle gives you, but you don't want the couple of weeks of the learning curve that it's required to master it. You're in the middle of trying to acquire mastery on the new thing that you're doing. You guys have to create you have to create capacity for the learning curve that is inevitably going to exist when you try something new. You got to learn new stuff, which means what? I can't grocery shop. I can't fly through the grocery store like I used to. Before, you knew all your stuff. You knew what mayo you bought because it had eggs in it. You ain't cared in. You knew what bread you bought. It had sugar in it. You didn't care before. Like now you got to read the labels on all the bread. Now you got to read the label on all the mayo. Now you got to read the label on the cereal. Lisa said, I can't have no sugar. You're in the midst of a learning curve. So you're calling it hard. I'm just calling it new. You're calling it hard. What's so hard about reading the label? You just lazy. You just want it to be quick. How you going to be new and quick? Where they do that at? You know doggone well if you knew at something, it take longer. Remember when you were trying to just drive for the first time and you was trying to now we parallel park in the middle of texting and on a phone conversation and ordering takeout. You can parallel park now in your sleep, but at one point it was new and you had to cut the radio down. You had to tell homie you would call him back because you got to focus. Being new requires focus. What did y'all think this was? Huh? So step one to being new at anything, okay? Create capacity for the learning curve. Understand that it is going to take more activation energy to get started than it does to sustain it. Let me say that again. When you're new at something, it's going to require more activation energy. More energy in the beginning called activation energy to start it. That's where you're learning all these new things. You're getting acclimated to a new normal. Then it's going to take less energy to sustain it. So know that the discomfort, the fact that you got to read now, oh my God, I got to read. Oh my God, now I got to think. God forbid we got to use our brains from time to time. Y'all just want everything on automatic. So, oh my God, I got to read. Oh my God, I got to think. Oh my God, I got to make new decisions. Now, I used to be able to just go to my favorite restaurant for dinner. Now I got to find a place with plant-based options because Lisa said if I want to get rid of this diabetes, I can't eat that chicken no more. Yeah, now you got to find a new restaurant to go to. Why you mad at me? Because you got to do a new thing. Just do the new thing. So create the capacity for the learning curve. Okay, I'm done yelling at y'all with number one. Let's get to number two. Come on, note takers. I love it here. Okay. Number two. Whew, let me take a sip of water. I should have bought some tea. Remember I had my tea last week, y'all? Okay. So number one was stop being lazy and start reading and start studying. Number two, the second way to be new at anything, okay, is increase your proximity to someone who's not new. Travis says, stop yelling at me and will not. Okay. Number two, note takers, write this down for your neighbors. Okay. The second way to effectively be new at something is to increase your proximity to somebody who's not new. Now, this is the shortcut from the gods. Okay. This is the shortcut from the gods. Listen, increase your proximity to somebody who is not new. A great coach has the ability to confirm or deny your beliefs about what is or isn't good. A great coach has a blueprint for you to follow so that the newness don't have to last very long. A great coach is going to expedite your journey between new and mastery. Okay. Listen, this just happened to me this morning. So you guys know, we just finished this 30-day vegan challenge. It was June 1st to June 30th, right? And I didn't realize how heavy of a lift the challenge was going to be. Like I was with my challengers, like I do things differently. I like my spirit of excellence to have a spirit of excellence, right? And so for the challenge, first of all, was 30 days. That's long in and of itself when it comes to challenges. But then also, I was with my challengers twice a week, Wednesday nights, Saturday mornings, right? We had a whole portal for the challenge. We had digital assets for the challenge. We had private coaching sessions available for the challenge. Like the challenge was crazy. We had a whole prep month for the challenge. So if I'm being completely honest, the challenge was 2 months and not one, right? And the part of the reason I did the challenge is because my coach does challenges and he suggested that we do an event. Okay. So we did. I literally told my coach this morning, a couple of hours ago, I said, Coach, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me this was going to be so exhausting? Like, why didn't you warn me? Right? I increased my proximity to someone who's not new. I increased my proximity. I'm doing a challenge for the first time. I'm new at doing challenges. So let me increase my proximity to somebody who does 30-day challenge, not 5-day challenges. A 5-day challenge, I could probably do that in my sleep. I came out the gate. It's not like I went from a 5 or 7-day challenge to a 30-day challenge. Your girl, because she think she can do it all, I went from no challenges to a 30-day challenge. Okay. And we hosted a 30-day challenge, had over 700 people register. It was crazy. Okay. And so my coach was able to guide us through that, right? He told us to do it. I tapped into him and his ecosystem, beforehand. I increased my proximity to somebody who's not new. This is one of the best things you can do for yourself. My clients do that with us at the Plant Protocol in Farm to Table. People enroll in Farm to Table because they want to adopt a plant-based lifestyle. They've never done it before. They've been doing it on their own and it ain't been working out the best. And so they need to increase their proximity to a team of coaches who've mastered it. A great coach will shorten the distance between new and mastery for you. A great coach will shorten the distance between new and mastery for you. If you don't like being new at anything and you hate the feeling of feeling like a novice and feeling like a beginner and feeling like an amateur, one of the quickest ways to stop feeling like an amateur is to increase your proximity to somebody who's not. Changes the game. I mean, they will drop a nugget on you that's like they not even thinking about it. Like, do you know how many times I have had people come to me and say, Lisa, when you said to me X, Y, and Z a year ago, that changed everything for me. I'm like, what? They like that took my journey from here to here. Now I'm saying it on automatic. They're still on manual. So the nugget means more to them than it does to me. But because they increased their proximity to me and they were able to get that juice, they were able to come get that work, they were able to get that nugget, they were able to come get that mastery, it changed their experience with being new at the thing. And we can shorten the time that they were considered an amateur. Does that make sense? Let me see what y'all saying. Oh, Juan got on Instagram said, and was amazing. Thank you. The challenge was fire. Let's say Kat said 2 of the most beautiful months of 2024 with a 30-day SOS free vegan challenge. Y'all sure know how to gas me up. Okay, I'll come back next week and keep giving y'all free nuggets. Y'all sure know how to gas me up. She said the 2 most beautiful months of 2024 was the challenge. What? Biggest compliment ever. Okay, so that's number 2. Okay. Make sure you increase your proximity to somebody who's not new, right? Gas. Let me tell y'all something else I'm new at. So we were new at challenges. I'm new to doing online events. So at the end of the challenge, we did a 2-day summit. That was new for us. Okay. And then the other thing I'm currently new at, I've approached a new level of leadership in my business. So I'm used to having 1 or 2 people on my team. I now have 6. Oh boy. And I didn't know all teams were human. I'm like, you can't just tell people what you want and they're going to do it excellently and get it the first time and never make a mistake and never let their own personal feelings and issues get in the way. And first of all, I'm upset at all of y'all who have leadership skills and y'all didn't warn me that teams are humans. thought I was hiring AI, yo. So I'm new I'm in another level of leadership at our company, right? And I regularly have to talk to somebody really close to me, and he has mastered like running teams. He's so good at people and with working with people. So I call on him regularly to tell me and teach me how to be a better leader. I'm like, oh, you got to spend quality time with your team. Got it. Oh, you got to say nice things and check on their families. Got it. Cause I just be want to get to work. Okay. So I literally lean on the people in my life who have mastered leadership on the level that I'm trying to master it to get better at it, because I'm new at being a leader of this big of a team. That makes sense? So it's really important to understand that increasing your proximity to somebody who's not new will change the game for you and will shorten the time you have to be new. That was number 2, right? That was number 2. Let's get into the last one. This one is big. So I'm going to slow down here, because I think this number 3 that I'm about to share with you is the one that I have seen literally cause people to run and quit. I promise you. Okay. So this is the one. All right. Oh, Linwood on Instagram said, I wasn't even in the challenge, but proximity to my wife who is in the challenge, I adjusted and made changes. Come on, proximity. Thank you, Linwood. Hey, Mastermind fam. Okay. So let's get into number 3, because this last one is the one that I have seen cause people to run and hide and quit and give up. They were new and they wasn't prepared for this third one. And so they literally have like ghosted the assignment. They literally have quit the assignment. I've watched people throw in the towel in the final hour. Like I had a client one time who was like this close. Did y'all see that? This close to completing her certification with us, and she quit. Like I was like, whoa. I could see you being far from finishing. But this close to finishing, like had maybe 1 or 2 more things to do and didn't complete and just quit. I'm like, woo, quitters quit, huh? Wow. All right. So let me give you this one so you don't run from the assignment. The third thing you have to do in order to effectively be new at something is you have to brace for impact. What does that mean, Lisa? You have to brace for impact, okay? The impact here is not physical. It's not like on an airplane and y'all been experiencing a lot of turbulence and the pilot comes on and the pilot's like, hey, this is going to be a rough landing. Brace for impact. No, this is not a physical impact. When you're new at something, you have to brace for the emotional impact. What does that mean? That means that typically when you are new at something and you're putting yourself out there and you're being exposed in a way you've never been exposed before, you likely are going to require what we call a vulnerability hangover. That means there's going to be a whole bunch of feelings, usually insecurities, that emerge as a result of being new at the thing. And if you do not brace for an emotional impact, you will make emotional decisions such as, this must not be what God wants me to do. You will make emotional decisions such as, I'm not good at this. I'm not as good as Lisa at speaking. I'm not good as Lisa at teaching. I'm going to run. When you quit in the midst of feeling your feelings, that means you did not brace for impact. You are new at being in front of the camera. You are new at living a plant-based lifestyle. You are new at running a business. Brace for the emotional impact of being new at something. This means you need to hold space for your feelings, because I'm going to tell you something I heard a coach say last week. He was doing a 5-day challenge. 5-day challenge, huh? Y'all still do that? It's like, no, let me stop talking junk. But anyway, I was in somebody's 5-day challenge last week, right? And he said something I thought was really poignant, really provocative, okay? He said, anytime your content, he was specifically talking about being new at creating content online. And he said, even when your content is not working for you, it's typically working on you. Come on now. Listen, this is going to be a lot of you guys when you guys do new things. Even though It's not working for you yet. It's likely working on you now, which means whatever you feel when you turn that camera off after doing your first video, whatever you feel after turning the mic off after doing your first podcast, whatever you feel after doing that first workout, after not being in the gym for a very long time, whatever you feel in that moment is an invitation to do personal development. Whatever you feel in that moment is not an invitation to quit. You're going to be beating yourself up. Oh my God, I'm not good at working out. I couldn't even last this many minutes on the treadmill. I couldn't even squat. I started hurting. I had to rest for too long. You're beating yourself up because you knew at working out. You beating yourself up because you don't know how to cook plant-based meals. You beating yourself up because you don't know how to run a company when you've been an employee your whole life. Like, whatever you feel in that moment, when you get done doing the thing and you realize you were not that good at the thing, that is an invitation to do emotional intelligence, to practice emotional intelligence. That's an invitation to do personal development. That is an invitation to take a closer look at the parts of you that need work. Because you want to know what happened for me. This is how I know I've been fire in the personal development game. When I got done with this 30-day challenge, I looked back at all the things I wish would have went better. I looked back at all the things I wish I personally would have done better. And not one time did I say, I'm never doing a challenge again. I'm horrible at this. I knew I shouldn't have done it. I did not once say, Lisa, you are a bad speaker. You're not good at planning. You're not good at running teams. When I look back at everything that didn't go the way I wanted to go for the challenge, not one time did I decide it was a personal attack on who I am as a person. When you do something new and you have feelings after doing something new, and you allow those feelings to make your next decision, i.e., whether or not to do it again, that is an invitation to work on your emotional intelligence. If you get in front of that camera and all you can think about is the way you look and the way you sound, that is an invitation to do some private work on how you love yourself. That is not an invitation to never do it again. You think because you were in front of the camera insecure that maybe you shouldn't be in front of the camera anymore. No. Maybe that's an invitation to go work on your own esteem. It's not a person, like, you have to stop taking it personally. So give yourself space for a vulnerability hangover. Lisa, what's a vulnerability hangover? This is you bracing for the emotional impact of being new at something. That means after I do the thing, after I leave the workout, after I leave the cooking the meal for the first time, after I cook my first plant-based meal, my whole family hate it, right? After I try and do content for the first time, after I try and write my first chapter in my first book, right? I'm going to stop and be in my feelings. I'm going to acknowledge, what do I feel? What do I feel right now? Oh, I feel anxiety. What do I feel right now? Oh, I feel super vulnerable. What do I feel right now? Oh, I feel dumb right now in this moment. I feel stupid. I don't feel like that was my first speaking engagement. I stumbled, I stuttered. Ooh, that was not good. How does that make me feel? This makes me feel small right now. Like, acknowledge everything you feeling. Like, brace for the emotional impact. Some of us, we get so wrapped up in the whirlwind of the feeling that we allow the feeling to make a decision. You're a horrible decision maker if you're making decisions at the height of emotion. So you must brace for the emotional impact of being new. Most of us do not do that. So I tell my coaches, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, let's get this one thing out the way. I tell them, I say, listen, the way I help you build your coaching business is I teach you how to create content online. For many of you, that's going to be a new experience. For many of you, that's going to be a first-time experience where you have to see yourself and hear yourself in a different light. You're likely going to feel unqualified. You're likely going to feel unrefined. You're likely going to feel like what you saying don't make sense. You're going to lose your spot. You're going to be all over the place because when the camera come on, you lose your mind, and you're likely going to feel like, I don't know if I can do this ever again. And then you're also going to feel like it wasn't good. And you know what I tell them? I'm like, let's get this out the way. It ain't no need to wonder. It was trash. It's not good. It ain't going to be good. And I need you to know that going in. So we ain't even got to spend time in class talking about it. I feel like it wasn't good. You right. This was my first coaching session with my first client. I don't think I did that good. You probably didn't. This was my first speaking engagement. These people paid me and I got on their stage and it was nothing but foolishness. And was, you knew, and it ain't good. And it suck a little bit. Okay. So brace for the emotional impact, because here's what happened. I work with really like smart, talented, educated, cultured people, men and women. And here's the issue with being new for them. By the time they get to me, in their typically their 40s, their 50s, and their 60s, and they're trying to go plant-based, or they're trying to start a business, or they're trying to coach for the first time, by the time they got to me, the thing that has benefited them the most in their life becomes the handicap when they get to me, which is they've mastered something somewhere else. Listen to me closely. My clients are typically much older than me, right? Especially in my plant-based coaching program. In my business accelerator, we're usually about the same age, but in my plant-based coaching program, my clients are usually much older than me. And the thing that has served them so well in their life up until now is the thing that handicaps them when they work with me. The thing that has served them so well is that they have developed mastery somewhere else. When they come over here, they're brand spanking new. And the fact that they are masters in another area skews their perception of what this new thing should look like. And so because they're so good at what they do over there, being new over here makes them 10 times more insecure about it. So when you develop mastery somewhere else, trying to be new in a new area can be really uncomfortable. And so that's going to be that's going to be the situation for a lot of y'all. And so I need y'all to brace for impact. Because it feels so good to be good at something, don't it? Like you go into your job and you the boss. Like my clients running teams, they got degrees, they telling people what to do. They done parented the hell out of them grown kids. They done made a marriage work. They got financial freedom. They teach other people how to, they ministers, and they mastered their faith and ministry. But then they come over to this plant-based world and they don't have a clue how to make a meal without eggs and chicken and cheese. And they're like, I suck. I'm horrible. This ain't for me. I don't know. They all in their feelings. They start ghosting me. They won't raise their hand in class. They have shame. They have guilt. I'm like, oh, po baby ain't braced for the emotional impact of not being like you sweet over there. And when I come to your job, I get to see you being sweet. But when you come into my room, into my coaching program, you're going to have to surrender to the newness. You're going to have to surrender to not being that great. And I trust that you great over there. Matter of fact, I'll probably buy whatever you selling over there. But over here, I need you to understand you're new, and that's okay, and it's safe. So this is how I'm going to end today. Why y'all may tell me to plug my computer up today? Every day, every week, we got to go through this. Ain't nobody going to drop a reminder in the chat. Lisa, make sure your stuff plugged in. Then we had this conversation last week anyway. Here's where we're going to end. Okay, here's the last thing I heard something this morning. I was like, oh, I'm going to tell them this today. Okay, I be thinking about y'all all the time. I obsess over y'all. Okay, so I was listening to, y'all know the shooting at the Trump rally happened in Pennsylvania this past weekend, right? So this morning I was listening to my podcast, my New York Times podcast. And of course they were covering the Trump rally shooting. Okay. And the person they were interviewing on this particular podcast was a photographer. He's a New York Times photographer. I believe he's a New York Times photographer. Anyway, he's a professional photographer. And he specifically specializes in photographing presidents. Okay. He has been photographing presidents for 40 plus years. And I was like, ooh, that's a hell of a niche. I like it. And so he's been photographing photographers for 40 plus years. And so he was at the Pennsylvania rally. Okay. And he was in the front row. Okay. So the interviewer asked him, like, tell me exactly where you were when the bullets started ringing out. And he was like, I was right in the front row looking directly up at Trump. He was right in front of me. The photographer said, I was in the line of fire. He was like, afterwards, when I got a moment to think about everything, I realized how I could have been hit by a bullet. Right. And so the interviewer asked the photographer, like, what did you do in that moment? What did you do when bullets started ringing out? Like, how did you respond? And the photographer said, I just kept my finger on the shutter. I was like, that's cold. That's a cold piece of work. I need y'all to catch this. I need y'all to catch this. He said, when the bullets started ringing out at the rally, I kept my finger on the shutter and kept snapping pics. I said, let me get this clear. Now, you and me, us, me and you, listening right now, what would we have done in that moment? Just think about it. We would have what? Took cover, ran, screamed. My man said, I kept my finger on the shutter and kept taking pics. Matter of fact, they are saying that I haven't even seen this picture yet, but apparently there's a picture going around where a bullet was caught in the midair. A bullet was caught midair, okay? And he got it on picture. Like they're saying it's like going to be one of the most historical, one of the most infamous photographs ever took, because is, catch in the middle of an assassination attempt, catching a bullet in midair, like the picture is just crazy, right? And the picture that most of us have probably seen with Trump with his fist in the air and blood splatter on his face, this particular photographer is the one who took that picture. That's who they were interviewing. So I'm listening to a master at work. And he said, in the midst of bullets flying, in the midst of people running, in the midst of chaos and screams, he kept his finger on the shutter. What's my point? My point is his instinct, it was so embedded in him to capture the moment that even in the midst of a potentially fatal experience for himself, he kept his finger on the shutter because that was his instinctual response. What am I saying to you? When you do something new, you likely are going to have an instinct to run and to hide because of the feelings you feel as a result of trying a new thing. The thing I want you to start paying attention to, this is how you get personally developed in everything you do. The thing I need you to start paying attention to when you try something new is, what are your instincts when the uncomfortable feelings come up? Like, what do you instinctually do? Because for me, when I do something new and I start like assessing the new thing, my instinct is not to run. My instinct is not to tell my team we never doing this again. My instinct is not to quit. My instinct is to go to my coach and be like, here's what happened. Here's what I wanted to happen. Fill the gap. My instinct is to get better. Some of y'all instinct is to run, hide, quit, and give up. You got to check in with your instincts. My man said he didn't take his finger off the shutter. I said, what? Huh? And as a result, he done made history, like capturing historical photos of this assassination attempt. What is your instincts? When you try something new, if you notice, I want you to think back at how many times you've tried something new. How many times out of the new thing, here's what I need you to compare. There's two numbers I need you to compare in your life. I need you to compare the number of times you've tried something new versus the number of times you've developed mastery in those new tries. If that ain't the same number, you need to be looking for a pattern. If the number of times you tried something new is not the exact same number of times you've developed mastery in something, I need you to look for a pattern. Because if you've tried, I don't know, bike riding, if you've tried entrepreneurship, if you've tried writing a book, and you don't have mastery in bike riding, and you don't have mastery in authorship, and you don't have mastery in running a business, then that means you're quitting more times than you're finishing, and that is a problem. What is your instinct? What is your instinctual response to trying new things? Now, if you quit something after you have enough data to quit, that's a different number. Like, you have to do things enough times and get enough reps in before you can definitively make a wise decision about quitting something. Because the point of trying new things sometimes is to see if you like it. But some of us quit so early because it's so uncomfortable. So quitting, there's different reasons to quit. So if you're quitting before you even have enough reps to know whether or not you can be good, if you're quitting before you have enough reps to know whether or not you really even enjoy it, then you have developed, your instincts need work. Y'all ain't keeping y'all finger on the shutter. That's all I'm saying. I'm listening to that interview again. My man said, I didn't run, I didn't jump, I didn't yell, I didn't scream. I kept shooting pics. I said, boy, you know how impressed I am right now? You know how, like, when can I walk across stage and shake your hand? Your instinct's so good. Your mastery is so good. So listen, you guys have to develop mastery around being new. That's the mastery. I don't want you to develop mastery. I don't want you to first think about developing mastery in the thing you're trying to try for the first time. I want you to develop mastery in being new. Mastery of being new means my instinctual response when I try something new is not to quit, give up, start over, beat myself up, label myself all these different ways. If that's where your mind instinctually goes to after you try a new thing, that's an invitation to do personal development work. Was this helpful today? Let me get out of here. This might be my longest live I've did on YouTube, 54 minutes. Can y'all tell how ready I was for y'all today? Can y'all tell how ready I was for y'all today? So let's review, boys and girls, before we hop off. Number one, you need to believe two things before you do something new. You need to stop thinking or stop deciding that it's hard before you start. First belief shift you need. Second belief shift you need is that there's a difference between not being good and being new. Those are not the same. Not being good and being new are not the same. They are not the same. You can only determine whether or not you're good after so many reps. What are reps? Reps are data. So we take the data and then we make a decision. If you have no data, you don't know if you're good or not. So they are not the same. And then that's what you need to believe. And then what do you need to do in order to be good at doing new things? Number one, you have to create capacity for a learning curve. Number two, you want to increase your proximity to somebody who's not new. And number three, you want to brace for impact. The emotional impact, create space for a vulnerability hangover, right? And then the bonus one that I gave y'all today, the bonus one that I gave you guys today is watch yourself as you're trying new things and watch how you instinctually respond to doing the new thing, right? Do you become self-deprecating? Right? Do you quit? Do you abandon it for a couple weeks before you finally get the courage to come back to it? What's your instinctual response to doing new things? Because if you ain't been photographing presidents for 40 years, you probably ain't keeping your finger on the shutter. And I feel like I could take this one down. I feel like I could take this one down and probably throw a price tag on it. What y'all think? I feel like I could take this one down and sell this live, which we help somebody today. I feel like we might be able to charge for this live today. What y'all think? I don't know. Let me know. I might have to reserve this one for my inner circle. This might come down off of YouTube. I might have to mark this one unlisted in private, honey, because things is different. So I hope this was helpful. If you haven't already, y'all heard me mention it earlier. Let me say it again. We just opened up pre-registration for our next challenge. For the Plant Protocol 30-day vegan, salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge. We just opened up registration for it. And listen, the prep don't start to December. The challenge don't start to January. Can y'all tell how ready I am for y'all already? Can y'all tell how ready I am for y'all? Like who opens up registration for a challenge 6 months before it starts? We do. Spirit of Excellence. If y'all don't work with us over here at the Plant Protocol, y'all missing out. I don't know what other plant-based company y'all going to. If you're trying to start a plant-based business, you're trying to live a plant-based lifestyle, you're trying to get your mind right, like y'all in the wrong arena if you ain't over here with us, because excellence precedes everything we do. So the challenge registration is open. You can register for free. It doesn't cost anything to pre-register. And so if you want to be a part of our next challenge, where we got receipts upon receipts. I'm talking about weight loss, medications, energy, crazy receipts, right? We haven't even revealed all the receipts because we had our challengers. We sent them a survey afterwards. So the receipts have been coming in. And so I think if you guys need some movement in your health and you want me and my team of coaches to help escort you, if you're trying to increase your proximity to somebody who ain't new, then you need to get pre-registered for the Plant Protocol 30-day vegan challenge. The link is pinned here if you guys are on YouTube. So get pre-registered for that. And then it's in my bio on Instagram. And then we'll also create an automated situation so you guys can just get registered that way as well. So anyway, Coach Dana said I lost 15 pounds on the challenge. Hey, come on, dropping receipts in the comments so they'll know I ain't lying. Shout out to Coach Jet Dana who lost 15 pounds on the challenge. Listen, we had our first class yesterday in Farm to Table, my plant-based coaching program. We just started invited in a new group of students, right? And we were in orientation yesterday. One of our students said he lost almost 40 pounds in June during the challenge. I said, sir, did you eat at all? Okay, that's crazy. So he was like, so needless to say, I'm in Farm to Table to keep the party going. He lost almost 40 pounds during the challenge. I'm just like, what? Yes. So come get this help with us, y'all. If y'all trying to live this plant-based lifestyle and be firing on all cylinders and have all the mental clarity and be confident in your body and live a long time, this is where you're going to do it. All right. Satisfaction guaranteed. All right. Till next time, y'all. Oh, you know what? I won't be here next Monday. I got to tell y'all that. I won't be here next Monday, but I'm going to upload actually a replay from one of my lessons that I taught during the challenge. So we're going to gift you with that next Monday. I have been ordered to take vacation. I have been ordered to take some time off. And so I'm not going live next Monday. I am going to post a replay from one of our classes during the challenge next Monday for you guys. So look out for that. We'll post it to go live next week. It'll be one of the best lessons that I taught during the challenge. And I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. And so I'll see y'all in 2 weeks because your girl about to master rest. All right. Coach Dana said, I'm in Farm to Table. I'm stalking Lisa. I'm here for it. You sure are, Dana. We got 3. Dana, I thought we had 2. I think we got 3 Danas in the challenge. I was looking at the student list this morning because everybody wasn't in orientation yesterday. And so I think we got 3 Danas in the challenge. But Coach Dana, I know who Coach Dana is. So what up? Okay. Kat said, enjoy the fruits of your labor. Thank you for wishing me some time off. I appreciate y'all. We will see you back here in 2 weeks, but look out next Monday. We're going to upload one of my replays from one of my teachings for you guys. It's been an absolutely good time. If there was a way to start vacation, this live was it. Was it not? Go watch this 100 times, like it 200 times, and share it with somebody who needs to master being new at anything. Love you guys forever. Bye, guys.